Welcome to Resi Upload Training. This next section we'll be talking about events and specifically web events. In our encoder training video, we went over the encoder events and what those were. Again, just a quick recap. When you create and start the encoder, it creates an encoder event. This is available on all of your decoders immediately, and you're able to access it from there. But this video specifically is going to focus on the web event side. So in our previous video, we talked about the event profiles and the importance of them. And now we're going to talk about how those are linked to web events. And it all starts from here on our encoder events. Within the Actions tab, we have a Start Web Event. The only way a web event is created is through an encoder event. To do this, we go to encoder events and we say start a web event. From here we select what we want to call this. We'll just, for the purpose of this video, call test event. And then we select the profile. So again, you saw in the previous video, we have multiple different profiles here. So we'll put this under our Special Services tab as we're not currently using it. And then we have a default profile for the web encoder. From here we can select channels 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, as well as just video channel 2. This is important because these here define what video channel we're taking as well as what audio channels we're taking. Now we have multiple audio channels available because we've in the past used this to send multiple types of video to different campuses on 2 different channels with different audio as well. Do note default and video channel 2 are 2 different video channels. Default is video channel 1. Video channel 2 is obviously, as you can tell, video channel 2. And this one will take the left-right audio. These are important because as of this filming, one channel takes our ASL feed, the other channel takes our standard feed. So this is why we need these 2 options available. We're going to stick with default. And then we have the start position for web event. Now, if you remember in the encoder section of the training, we had the ability to create queues. This is where they become important. You don't want to start an encoder and maybe you have some slop at the beginning of things where you haven't actually started the video to run yet. If that's the case and your video doesn't start until, in this case, 49 minutes within the beginning of your encoder start, then you'll want to create a start position and an end position. So we want it to start here, and we want it to end at the end of the service. Again, we don't want it to carry on with black screens or just nothingness. Now, playout behavior for the embed code and the stream URL is very important as well. Now, depending on what you're trying to do with this web event, will determine whether you want to, how you want this behavior to be. So, for instance, if we want to take an encoder event and manually start this as a web event onto a destination such as our web page or YouTube, then we would want a real-time playout. Now, if we want this event to be ready to go right away on a web event link, then we would choose the faster than real-time ASAP. It's an active event immediately. This is important because, as we discussed in our profiles, event profiles, there's a persistent link in there and a persistent embed code that as you select that web event profile, this will now take ownership of that actual video. That video will now become whatever this event is. Then there's the final option, which is faster than real-time use for the next scheduled sim live. So in our current status, we are using a lot of simulated lives because we're pre-recording and uploading ahead of Sunday. This is good if we have a need for, say, 20 minutes before we're supposed to go to a scheduled sim live. We want to upload it quickly. This is the way to do it. And then you can, again, if you want to do the real-time playout and stream to a social media destination, you can add a social media destination. We'll talk about that in the next video. Once you select to do the upload, it will create the web event, as you can see here. Within these web events, you will see a couple of important pieces of information. So we have here what that web event profile is. We will see that it is active, and this is what it means. Basically, that web event profile persistent link now has this video active on it. You can see here we have a couple of web events for Grace Chapel Classic, but these other ones are not active because they have not been deleted, but they still exist online and will have links available to them for watching online. But if you have the event profile link set up, this is the active one, as well as when we talk about scheduling and you schedule a sim live attached to this web event profile, this will be the active event, web event, to that web event profile for simulated live. Over in Actions, we have multiple options. First off, we have the ability to watch what that event is. The ability to trim it, so we can, again, create queues and trim it out. And you create queues here to trim it. You can download this event. And when we talk about social, you can actually live watch the event going out to YouTube, Facebook, or any social destination that you have. You can publish it and stop it from here if there were ever an issue. There's the direct link to it. And again, we'll talk more about social destinations in the next video. You can click on and see your analytics. We'll talk about that in a video later on. You also can see the details of the service. So here it looks similar to your event profiles details, but there are some differences. This standalone web player, much like the event profile, will show the video. However, it is not persistent. It will go away when the event is deleted. Where event profiles, it will not go away. It will just be replaced or recycled with the most current event loaded into that profile. Same with the embed code. It's the same idea. It will be loaded into, for the event profile, it'll be loaded and persistent. This one, when this event actually gets removed or deleted, you will actually have a broken link afterwards. So this embed code and these standalone web players are great for conferences and things of that nature where you just want the content to be online for a short period of time, especially if you want to do a pay site or something of that nature as well. And from here you can also edit some of the pieces as far as the name of the web event and its description. As well, you can go in here and also click edit from that spot as well. So that's the basics of web events and how they are created. In the next video, we're going to talk about social media and setting up and connecting those accounts.